Today on Garage 31 we're going to be diving into tubeless tires. Not only do they offer more puncture resistance, they offer a change in ride characteristic to your bike in the sense that you can run lower tire pressures, heavier duty tires. Pretty simple to do at home, so let me show you how. Now, to convert your wheels tubeless, you will need some specific parts. I'll go over those in a second, but first thing you want to do is check your rim. Almost all mountain bike rims will be tubeless compatible, even if it doesn't say on it. Because the tire pressures are generally so low, even if they're not tubeless compatible, we can still get them rolling tubeless fairly easily. But a lot of manufacturers will put a sticker on saying it's tubeless ready. That doesn't necessarily mean it's actually ready. It might just mean that the rim is designed for tubeless, and you'll still have to go out and buy some rim tape which sits on the inside here. So just bear that in mind. You may want to take the tire off on the old tube out just to check before you go to the bike shop or online, wherever you're getting your parts from, because it would suck to do all that work and then you're still missing parts. Next up, you're going to need some tubeless ready tires. Don't do this without tubeless ready tires. It will say on them. This is Maxxis, I'll say TR tubeless ready. Schwalbe might say TLR or some abbreviation very similar, but you will need some specific tubeless ready tires. And if you're upgrading your tires, you might want to invest in, depending on where you're riding, Maxxis do a range of tires which have different compounds. And you can see this one is a tubeless ready tire, but I run the DH casing, which is a lot thicker and the rubber's a lot softer. So you really get the grip from the tire and you get the grip from the lower tire pressure. After that, you're going to need some tubeless rim tape. This is some stuff that I produce. If you're interested in it, you can go to bikegarage31.ca, or very soon it'll be on Amazon too. And rim tape, kind of the mountain biking world, is notorious for being terrible, but this is, I'm really happy with it. It sticks to everything. It's really thin, so it's easy to put tires on, and it lasts a really long time. So if you're interested in that, check out Amazon or bikegarage31.ca. After rim tape, valves, tubeless valves. Again, I produce a range of tubeless valves, different colors. I've got ones for every single price point, starting at $15 and going up to these pro ones at $35. These are compatible with tire inserts too. There's some cuts on the bottom so you can run a tire insert, and there's a tool on the top as well. So that's pretty sweet. And then to finish off, you're going to need some sealant. This is some sealant I just got from Canadian Tire, which is a Canadian just a big box store. It's not bike specific. It doesn't really have to be bike specific. All tires are kind of the same, so I just buy it in this big box or big jug because I use it quite every day almost. This is my personal wheel, so it is already stood up tubeless, but let's imagine it's not. So you're just going to want to take all the air out of your tire. Now with my hands, I'm going to grab the side of the bead here and try and push it in towards the middle of the wheel. And I'll just work my way around. And on the other side again, now pushing again into the middle, moving the bottom of the tire. And the tire lever, I'm going to go to about a quarter of the way around, try and get it in. So now the tire's over the top. I've moved it across the top of the rim. With my left hand, I'm going to push down. It's going to give you lots of leverage. This tire does have a tire insert in it too, which I'll show you guys how to install. Now I'm just working the other side of the tire into the middle of the rim, so I can get this tire insert out. There. I'm going to take the the other side of the bead of the tire that's still on the rim off the same side I took this one. And if you pull up on the tire and push down on the rim, you might even be able to just give it like that. I didn't even need a tire lever, and this is a downhill casing tire. So what I did there was I just pushed the rim down, pulled the tire up, and it created a gap that I could just move the wheel out. I'm just going to take this old tape off, and then we can get started. So taking the tire off, the old tube out, the old rim tape if you were tubeless. If you weren't tubeless, it would be a rim strip that you would have removed. We want to clean and make sure this is totally dry. There's no residue from the old tape. There's no water that's seeped in or sealant. So we're going to take a microfiber and just wipe down if it's pretty contaminated, and then we're going to use some disc brake cleaner to get it really clean. And as we're wiping, we're going through around the rim, making sure there's no damage. So I got a little bit of a flat spot right there, and because it's it's tubeless, we're making an airtight seal. And if there's a dent in the rim, then we won't be able to create an airtight seal, and it'll leak, and you'll never get it set up. So I got a small bit of damage there, but I'm pretty confident that's going to be fine. I'll continue working my way around. I got an example here just on the ground of what would be too extreme of damage. Let me find it here. Yeah, so hopefully you can see this, but right there, it dips down a bunch. I can feel it with my hand. So you won't be able to get a seal because the tape will want to just create an air gap there. So this rim is junk, hence why there's no hub or anything. It's just due to get recycled. So if there's major damage in your rim, you probably will not be able to set up tubeless. So at this point, we're going to have to measure the internal width of the rim. So I just got a tape measure, and this rim comes up at 30 millimeters. Most mountain bikes will be in the region of like 27 to 35. And the rule of thumb for the rim tape, which I got here, is you do the internal width plus 2. So this would need a 32 millimeter rim tape because there's a valley there, so essentially it's longer. I do sell my own rim tape in 32 and 30, 35 and 27 also. So the one we're going to get for this specific rim is 32. Like the tape won't fit down when it's just on its roll, but once we stretch it out, it's going to go on just fine. So I've cleaned the rim with disc brake cleaner really well. These DT Swiss black anodized rims are notorious for tubeless tape not sticking. So it's important to get them really clean. Now I'm going to roll out a little bit of my tape. The valve holes here, I'm going to start about 2 spoke holes away or past the valve hole. Apply the tape down. Now I don't recommend it doing on a truing stand because we want to use our thumb and just place the tape into the middle so that it sticks from one side all the way down into the valley of the rim and the other. So I'm just going to use my thumb. I'm only pulling 10 inches of tape at one time, and then pressing the tape down into the middle. And I'm just going to work around the whole rim and then overlap at the end. And once we're done, we want to go at least 2 holes past the valve hole so that there's 2 layers of tape over the valve. Okay, sweet. Now that's done. You can see here that the tape is flush against the rim. I press it, it's hard up against it. If you're pressing here and you're able to, if there's an air gap, then you'd have to take the tape off and start again and make sure it's totally flush. Now for the ease of the video, I've just put the rim or the wheel back in the truing stand. Again, I don't recommend putting the rim tape on a truing stand because you will get that air pocket, which we don't want. Now we're going to cut the hole for the valve, and I use a combination of tools. First I'm going to use a pick. I'm going to find where the hole is, and if you're unsure you can actually just stick the pick down through the back and then you can feel it. Actually just got myself there. So I got the pick through, then I've got a slightly larger flip head screwdriver. I'll stick that one through. And then I got this dirty old round file. I'm just going to stick that in there and just twist, and it'll just shave off the tape enough that we don't actually have to cut anything, but it's going to make a really easy seal. And with this may seem excessive, but you want to do you want to do tubeless setup once, because if you mess it up and you got the sealant in the tire, it's going to be a lot of mess and a lot of time and frustration. So you can see the hole there, fairly round, and there's not an excess of tape down in the hole, so it means we can get a good seal around there for the valve. Next we're going to install the valve. The only part that goes through the rim is just the valve and this base seal, so we'll put that in first. Then goes on the little O-ring, and then the nut. And as I tighten this on, I'm pushing down with my thumb to create pressure on the base seal, and I'm not looking to tighten this down like a stem bolt or anything like that. It's really just enough that the rubber on the O-ring here and the base seal start to collapse a little bit and create an airtight seal. So that was only really like 2 or 3 turns after I felt some resistance, and then that's going to be good enough for us there. Time for the tire now. These Maxxis tires are directional, and you can tell the direction based on where the logo is. So the Maxxis logo and the tire information is always on the drive side, which side of the cassette. The other side doesn't have a logo at the bottom, it just has the Maxxis one, so don't put it on the wrong way. I like to line my logos up, so I'm going to put my valve at the top here, stick the first speed on. I always like to go from this direction, because if we get stuck and we need to put the wheel on the ground, we're putting the wheel against the cassette on the ground rather than the rim. So I'm just going to work it on with my hands all the way around. Ideally you don't want to use tire levers, because if you use tire levers then you may pinch the tape and create a cut, and then it won't seal properly, and then you'll have to take everything apart again and start from fresh, and you're wasting a lot of products. So if you can, don't use tire levers. I'm going to insert my tire insert now. That'll be in a separate video, so I'll get you guys back after I fit that thing. See what's going to go in. On a 29-inch wheel, enduro style wheel, you're probably going to want to use 60 to 90 mils of sealant. Now I already went ahead and put the other bead on, so now we can add some air. Make blowing it up at home if you don't have an air compressor. We're going to remove the valve core here. Now if you purchase some Garage 31 valves from me, they come with tool built in already. Let's see if I can get it to focus. So that's the top cap there, and this area here is a tool that you can use to take out the valve core. So that core goes on there, unwinds, and removing the core is just going to mean we have an unrestricted valve here, and it's going to allow more air in. I just have a regular old shot pump here. Shock pump, not shock pump. Stick it on the compressor side, and then you're just going to want to pump as mad as you can until you hear some pops. Okay, so we're good there. I'm going to take this pump off, and then with my index finger close the valve off so there's no air leaks. Stick the core back in. Tighten the core up. Doesn't have to be super tight. And then I'm going to overinflate the tire just to help it seat 100%. So I'm just going to pump it up to 40 psi, no more than that. The tire's on here and it's holding air. We're just going to make sure that the bead of the tire, so that line we were trying to hide earlier when we were putting the tire on, we can see that on both sides. That's what that popping noise is when you're inflating it. It's just the bead popping onto the rim. Sorry, audibly, there's no leaks. You can double check that with some soapy water. Now obviously the sealant has to move for it to do its job, so you can spin it around. I would put it back on my bike and just go for a 5-minute pedal around. If you're running downhill casing tires, chances are this will be flat tomorrow, especially if the tire's new. That's okay. Just reinflate it, go for a ride. Sealant can be a little bit temperamental tubeless can be a little bit temperamental to set up. But once it's set up, it tends to stay really good. So we're not completely done here. Maybe we'll have to add some air tomorrow, but overall this went pretty easy.